Welcome to the last match of the first half of today, day 5 of the 10th Alliance tournament. This is going to be the last match today that Zastro and I bring to you from the commentary booth. I think it's going to be a good one. We've got our second showing of Ham Tengus in a row and second showing in these 12-man matches. This is Verge of Collapse versus Capital Punishment. Verge of Collapse has brought Ham Tengus with 3 Tengus, Basilisk, Ferox, 2 Kitsunes, a Hawk, and 4 Harpies. Very strong use of Assault Frigs and the Ham Tengus, which do a lot of damage, as we saw. Capital Punishment brought Macarial, 2 Sleipnirs, Scimitar, 2 Cyclones, 2 more Harpies, and 4 Merlins. I think these are fairly strong setups from both teams, but Verge, I think, has the edge.
Yeah, I like that we're seeing more brawling setups as we get into the later matches of the day. I like seeing ships blow up. I don't like seeing the kiting ECM teams as much because I like destruction.
And there is going to be a lot of destruction in this match. We're seeing these Tengus fit to get in nice and close, use micro-warp drives to get in and do their damage. And once they get in close, these Hams do a ton of damage to big ships like the Macarials and the Sleipnirs and Cyclones. They'll be able to do pretty much full damage.
Yeah, pretty much the big bane of missile setups like this would be like a low sig armor tanking kind of setup, but that's not what they're facing here today. So.
They're also up against, they're also having a hard time killing frigates with the Tengus, but that's what the Harpies are for. Harpies do a great job of covering that. Harpies are also doing a great job of doing a lot of tracking disrupting. We're seeing tracking disrupting on the Sleipnirs and Cyclones. Good choice in this case because it's going to do a great job of neutralizing these turret teams.
Yeah, they did get a good pull because they are going up against a turret team here. Had they gone up against a similar team to what they're fielding, it wouldn't have affected them.
Yep. So we're seeing their damage apply to the first Sleipnir of Capital Punishment, and you see they're breaking it down fairly quickly, even under the logistic reps of the Scimitar.
Yeah, it looks like most of the big DPS on the Capital side is tackled right now. Verge of Collapse dictating the range in the early part of this match.
Yep, we are seeing another shield booster, probably another ASB on this Sleipnir for Capital Punishment, so it's going to have a ridiculously strong tank. The combination of the Scimitar, and as we see a Kitsune go down for Verge of Collapse, but I think that Sleipnir is going to drop as soon as it runs out of charges. As Laz just explained, once a ASB runs out of charges, you need a minute to reload it, and at that point, it's not going to survive.
Yeah, so maybe we spoke too soon when we said that all of the DPS coming off of the 12-man team setups would be enough to power through the ASBs, because it is seeming to make quite a big difference here.
I think it would power through the ASB by itself, but the combination of the ASB and the Scimitar at the same time is enough to keep it up until the reload. But once that reload happens, it's going to... So it is actually boosting and still going in. So they are powering through it slowly, but it'll go down much more quickly once the reload happens.
Yep, and now he's in structure, and he's going to die.
And not boosting anymore, so he's dropping very fast.
But now both Kitsune's Verge of Collapse are dead, so that... I don't think that'll have too big of an impact at the beginning of this match, but...
What it's going to probably mean is that the Scimitar for Capital Punishment is going to have a much easier time repping, because I would expect those Kitsunes are going to be doing a lot of disruption on the Scimitar.
It didn't seem like they prevented the Scimitar from getting too many reps on that Sleipnir at the beginning of the match, because that Sleipnir stayed alive for quite a while.
Now, Capital Punishment has gone up against the weakest of the sizable ships for Verge of Collapse. The Ferox, it's going to have less resist, so it's an excellent choice for your next primary. The Bassi won't be able to keep it up.
And with the new blaster changes, Feroxes do a lot of DPS. I was surprised at the beginning of today and in the prelims how well the Ferox teams that I believe it was Black Legion brought, how well that they performed.
Yeah, but the other thing about that Ferox is it could have easily been running a Ganglink. So taking that off the field is going to lower the effectiveness of the entire other team. As now we see Capital Punishment hitting the Basilisk of War God for Verge of Collapse. War God, a well-known older player in this game, been in the tournament a bunch of times, all the way back to the Triumvirate team years ago. But his ASB Basilisk is now dropping right through the reps.
I would have thought they would go for that Basilisk before they went for the Ferox, but I guess...
I think with the damage they've got, a Tech 1 ship like the Ferox can't be kept up even through that. It's a good call taking the Basilisk down before they go after the higher resist Tengus, though.
Right. As
we see the Basilisk go away. So this is a very strong showing for Capital Punishment, and I think this is going to be 2 upsets in a row for this group of death, Group D. This is, in both cases, the lower ranked team from the 6-man beating the higher ranked team, as long as Capital Punishment is able to continue this, which I expect they will.
Yeah, the Scimitar and Capital Punishment having absolutely no trouble at all keeping the rest of his teammates alive. Well, Verge of Collapse is, now that they've lost their Basilisk, they're just going to be bleeding out slowly here.
There's a lot of groups that have 1 or 2 very strong teams that we expect will move forward and do well. One of the reasons that this was considered one of the big death groups is that they've got 4 strong teams.
Yeah, none of these teams are bad. I felt a little better about Verge of Collapse going into this match, but by no means did that I feel it was like a sure thing. You know, like a
I was
lockdown.
definitely I also picked Verge of Collapse, but yeah, a similar thing. The Capital Punishment showed did a good job with some of their setups in the 6-man. I think they're going to get off to a great start here with the 12s.
Yeah, I think this group is good, and whatever two teams don't progress out of the group stages from this group, I don't think they should feel any shame because there weren't any.
Except for the Goons.
Yeah.
They lost to the Fail Heap Challenge Forum Squad.
The Goons should always, of course, feel ashamed. But they made it this far. We actually made it into the tournament this year. I call that
That's
a
a
great
big step.
success compared to
Yes.
last year. So baby steps. We're doing a little better every year.
But we've got a lot of damage applied to the Sleipnir of Joe Cairns for Capital Punishment. Now, he's probably going to end up going down unless they can take these Tengus down fast just because he's going to hit his reload, but it's not going to be a big deal. They're still going to have the Macaros, still going to have the Cyclones. They'll be able to finish off.
Verge's DPS has been so decimated at this point that I'll be surprised if they even kill the Sleipnir.
Well, Verge still has the Tengus, which are the core of its DPS, but they don't have the frigates anymore or the Basilisks.
As I was saying that, I was expecting that Tengu to be dead by the time I finished my statement, but I was wrong. He stayed alive for about 20 seconds too long. Made a liar out of me again. Dad
Capital
child.
Punishment's another group that's been in this game a long time. They don't have a lot of experience with the tournament, but it's good to see them doing so well here. Interesting note, Capital Punishment was the first group to ever war deck red versus blue. In the original Red versus Blue, they were the first group to ever face the Wrath of Purple, and here they are doing a great job in the tournament.
Didn't go so
I
well
would
for
love
them.
to see if they can make it to the knockouts and go up against Red versus Blue. That would be a great
That would
old
be,
school
that'd be
showdown.
yeah, a good little grudge match. I love when the history of the teams brings an extra bit of grudge into their alliance tournament matches. I like when politics gets involved.
So now it's just a matter of time. The Harpies are going to be chased down in that last Tengu. Again, ASB Tengu, so it's going to take a little while to kill. They're probably going to have to, well, they might be able to break through it, but if they don't, then it'll definitely die on its reload.
Looks like Capital Punishment, it might lose a Merlin here, but overall they're just...
I don't think they're going to care too much about that.
Yeah.
That's one of the nice things about these ASBs is that although they do have great tanks, you can always count on them running out of the charges. So because you can't fit more than one of them in the tournament, you're limited to one ASB per ship. You can't fit the two of them and just cycle them back and forth. You have to use just the one, and that means that there's a time limit. You can't just tank people the whole match and have the match go to time.
ASB's great, obviously, great modules on the tournament. How do you feel about ASBs out in general, like on
For
Tranquility?
small groups, for like soloing, great, but not really a fleet module. And here we see Verge of Collapse, the last Harpy going down, Capital Punishment with the full kill, and great job to them. This is the second upset in a row. Really
Man,
good end to the first
My
half.
predictions were completely
I
terrible.
think I'm
for this
now
first
actually
half.
below 50%
Yeah.
for the first half. Wow, shameful.
we're-
We'll send you
some
back
experts we
to
are.
Soundwave and the other experts to see how terrible their predictions were as well.